It's time for our daily dose of cope, and we have Luna Kitsune out in the field. There are so many stories that we need to get to, so let's go ahead and jump right in. By the way, Kitsune is her married name. She married a fox named Larry. We're going to start out with this Magatino named Lisa Corona. She says, I voted for Trump, yes, but I am not pleased with his actions. I take pride in my roots, just as my great-grandfather Pancho Villa did. And then she posts this picture where it says, proud where my roots come from, Mexico. These Magatinos are wilding out. Effective Space posted this in the Leopards Ate My Face, saying, a Mexican-American woman votes for Trump, a racist who has shown who he is for years. Because of her vote, he's now president and being racist towards her community. Asleep Macaroon says that white Texican thought she was one of the good ones because she didn't inherit her alleged great-grandfather Dorito Arango's Pancho Villa's tan complexion. Trust and believe. I had the misfortune of growing up in a racist, backward border town full of those bootlicking putas. One of them, for example, vehemently claimed that her whole family only came through Mexico from France. But when it came time for applying to colleges with her grades, suddenly she was a proud Mexican on those applications and financial aid forms to qualify for the then available conditional admission as a historically underprivileged minority. Sounds about right. Now we have another Facebook post from a woman named Lori. She says, I completely regret my vote for Trump. He is playing games with our lives. What happened to less government? Why are the rich getting any tax breaks and we are paying more? Why are the companies involved in lawsuits against regular people being dropped? Why are we sidestepping the Constitution? I didn't vote for all of this. Well, actually, you did. Like the person that posted this says, yes, you did vote for this, Lori. We tried to warn you. The caption Wolf posted, Lori believed Trump's lies, thinking he actually cared about them, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and now she regrets it. T. Moore says, it's almost like if you had paid attention instead of getting your news from Facebook memes, you would have known this is exactly what you voted for. De facto Champ says, unfortunately, more than half of the people in the United States now get their news from social media. It's only going to get worse. And Wolf says, no kidding. If anyone has Facebook, look up America's Last Line of Defense. The page is satire, it claims anyways. Whether it's that or not, they make up a lot of stuff. And even on the image, it says it's fake and not real. And the comments are full of the MAGA types who take it at face value and treat it as real. We are truly doomed. Not many have media literacy. That is absolutely true. So many people won't even do a basic Google search just to see if they're spreading falsehoods. More Motivation posted one of these, how it started, how it's going. I really like this person. This person says he really thought his debt and taxes would go away if he voted for Trump. LOL. Gunther Eagleman, a MAGA influencer, asked the question, what federal agency do you want to see go first? And Chris answers, IRS. Derek Evans posted, President Trump will sign more executive orders today at 3 p.m. What is one executive order you hope he signs? And to that, Chris says, get rid of the IRS and taxes. All right, so that is what he was saying. The White House official account makes this post. Deficits are down. Taxes are down. Energy is down. Prices generally are down. The only things that are up, take-home pay, the stock market in our country, which is the hottest anywhere in the world. President Donald J. Trump. And to that at the bottom, Chris says, I voted for Trump, but my taxes aren't down and my take-home pay is for sure not increased. We regular people are drowning in debt and seeing the waste of our tax dollars continue. For some reason, he doesn't see America as being as hot as Donald Trump and his cronies keep acting like it is. This is a Lie Social post from Donald J. Trump. He says, it is my great honor to report to you that the United States of America now fully owns and controls 10% of Intel, a great American company that has an even more incredible future. I negotiated this deal with Lip Bu Tan, the highly respected chief executive officer of the company. The United States paid nothing for these shares, and the shares are now valued at approximately $11 billion. This is a great deal for America and Also a great deal for Intel, building leading edge semiconductors and chips, which is what Intel does. Is fundamental to the future of our nation. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Hugo responds with, why is the federal government buying an interest in a private company with my effing money? Does this mean I am a shareholder? You don't have any money. It's our money. You can't invest my money and not give me an effing return on my investment. Thank you for your attention in this matter. I will say I don't know for certain that Hugo voted for Donald Trump. I don't know, but Hugo is not pleased with what Donald Trump is doing as far as using taxpayers' money to buy 10% interest in Intel. This is a Facebook post. So they reposted this article. USDA cancels $1 billion in local food purchasing for schools and food banks. Amanda says, I did not vote for this. I am a strong conservative and I voted for Trump, not Elon. This was a win-win that protected and fed our kids. Ensuring our children are healthy is never a waste of money. Ending the local foods program will hurt our kids and our farmers here in Stockton. For many children, school lunches and the food they get at school is the only healthy, consistent food they get. This program not only provided the healthy food, but it helped support, through local contracts, our local farmers. Local food is so important because the freshness, quality, and chemicals on the fresh foods from other countries cannot be guaranteed. It did more to support buying American products than any tariff would. This is truly short-sighted thinking. Yes, but this is what Republicans have been doing, wanting to strip free lunches from kids. Whereas Governor Kathy Hochul is making this post, starting this year, free breakfast, free lunch, no questions asked. That's how we set up our kids for success. So the governor of New York says free lunch. But for some strange reason, this actually did piss off people in the comment section. You would think that they were stripping food away from kids, but no, they're upset about free lunch. BuzzFeed compiled some of these comments. I'm gonna go through a few. Irene says, commie, there's no such thing as free. William Tabor DDS says, what does it teach kids to look to government for their needs instead of to themselves and their families? You're training obedient little drones. Steve says, then straight to DEI classes and transgender awareness. Leah says, success, you're thinking if you feed them, we won't notice their test scores? And Fred says, when you remove parents' responsibility to feed their own kids, you create more irresponsible parents and the cycle perpetuates. They cannot stand feeding kids. This is who MAGA is. You got to look at the picture. Tim says, Republicans, when a child gets a free meal, they just look angry. These people are angry and deranged when kids get a free lunch. I'm gonna do one more. Barney says pro-lifers when saving the children doesn't include taking away women's rights. And so then you see this child melting down because these pro-lifers are really just forced birthers. They don't give a damn about kids once the kids are on the other side of the birth canal. Let's talk a little bit more about these MAGATINOs. This is a post from Brian Tyler Cohen. He says, Trump just announced that grants for Hispanic serving colleges are unconstitutional and they will no longer defend them in court. And remember, these Latinos for Trump, let's go ahead and snatch things away from this community. And here we are with this post. This is from The Economist. Many Cubans in Florida are living in fear of deportation. Y'all know what's coming. But before that, let's go ahead and finish looking at this. The caption says, hundreds of thousands of Latin Americans in America are living in fear that the Trump administration ended programs that gave some of them hope for future residency. Ronario de la Torre, a 56-year-old electrician who came from Cuba 18 years ago, says the president has gone too far with immigration, but he's waiting to see if the president fulfills his promises. He also says it's still early in the presidency and we have to give him time to see what he does. So he's still being hopeful that he will still pull through for these people. Alice the Omelet says they'll never ever be able to bring themselves to acknowledge Trump ever doing anything wrong. This is why it's not a political group with different opinions and a controversial leader. It's a bigoted cult with a leader who can never be questioned.